Tell us about a time you almost gave up and persevered.
All the time. All the time.
Oh, that's a good question. There's been loads of times.
Oh.
Someone.
I've always said, yeah, I'm giving up, but Sherelle doesn't give up. You know, I'm a G like that. It just happens. You know, I just keep going.
This was this year. I almost gave up because I do a holiday club as well.
I think it happens at least once a year. Again, it only happens during a dry season and you start doubting yourself. You start thinking, oh my gosh, am I even doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
I think the lowest time was probably when there weren't as many clients as I would have liked to have.
When I was doing the lettings, I basically started it from my bedroom. And so I used to make cold calls every single day to landlords that would always say, no, F off, get off my phone, not interested. And I used to have to make phone calls every single day, like 100, 150 phone calls a day to get one yes.
Hard to get jobs, you know. I was, thinking about becoming a freelancer. Even though I didn't want to become a freelancer, I actually wanted to, get an apprenticeship, like join an apprenticeship, or, and sort of just do that and just, get experience. But again, all these big apprenticeships and things like that, they just rejected me and things like that. And I thought, it was good. I thought, all the stuff I've been doing was enough to sort of, at least get me to one apprenticeship.
A couple of companies that I was dealing with basically kind of like ended the contracts. It was a bit difficult because at the time, when you first get told something, you think, oh, am I not good enough? Is not what I do good enough? And then you start doubting and thinking, should I even be doing this? And
in the evening, I received a call from a lady saying, you cannot do this business, you cannot use this name because this is something what I use. And I was like, who are you to tell me that I can't do that?
Yeah, we was in a lot of debt end of last year. I wouldn't say I was really close to giving up, but it was real stress.
So the difficulty is managing as much as I am. So at the moment there's everything to do with the social networks and getting information out. It tends to be quite lonely. Right? And then obviously you don't want to ask somebody to work for free, but at certain points when you do need that kind of support, or morally or financially, it's like you have to ask somebody to put their time in, put their effort in.
I outsourced the web development to an Indian agency, and they just gave me a real difficulty in meeting the deadlines on this project, and they just didn't understand the brief, despite multiple Skype calls and various other sort of engagements over email and things like that. So I just almost gave up. So right, you keep the money I've paid you for this project. I'm now going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, someone straight up. And I guess in a way I did fail and didn't go back to it. Instead of running my own business, I just went back into being a freelancer and working for someone else, which was like, I guess it's kind of a fail, but in the bigger picture, it kind of worked out.
I think my lowest point as an entrepreneur is realizing that, at some point, it is a lonely journey, and you're embarking on a mission that sometimes only you can see the end.
A few years ago, Sherelle and I had an unfortunate miscarriage, and that was a really low point for me, and I didn't know how to deal with that. So I went into a very deep depression.
How do you keep persevering in difficult times?
My faith in God. First of all, I would say I'm not very reactive as a person. I'm upset sometimes, but I don't get emotionally involved so much about what's happening.
I had to change my mindset. I had to change my perspective of how I was looking at things. I had to big myself up a little bit, and give myself props where they were due.
I've always just thought, okay, that didn't work. I'm gonna have to rethink my strategy.
A lot of times I always thinking about give up, sometimes. But this is part of the success.
When you have a kind of bigger goal and bigger picture, you just, all of the negative comments, there's people who are trolls or send death threats and stuff like that. You just smile at it and think, this means nothing to me, because I know ultimately where I'm gonna be in the future and what I'm gonna do for the people and what I can give to the world.
So I like to watch other people's stories, not just to inspire myself, but to also let me know that whatever it is that you're going through, other people on a similar journey go through it, if not worse.
think the thing is, once you know who you are, you can't truly give up. So every day is persevering. And it's not just the business side, it's the health side, it's the fitness side, it's the mindset side.
I go back to understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing. For me, it's very emotional driven, and it's not based on something that can be easily taken away. So I go back to why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that's the strength that gives me the strength I need.
Sherelle came to me and said, you need to keep going. And that for me was my push. You know, having someone that, you know, supports you and cares for you, that's a really big thing, and that helped me a lot.
So I was doing all these little things, but it was still not making sense. So I was like going home confused about who I was. But then I kept saying to myself, like, if I write down what values I like and anything that I do, I kept putting the values back in and meeting those kind of like KPIs, that it would make sense in the next 5 years.
You've just got to spend as less time as you can with those people who are telling you that, and start to reach out and find the entrepreneurs that want to actually build you up and help you and that sort of thing.
What would you say is the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make or try to do?
I would say not being around the right kind of people.